Welcome to the Compuware Workbench Hiperstation Archives module. Here you will learn how to specify a Hiperstation archive request. Zooming in on the Audit Explorer pane, Archive Management is at the top of the list. The word archives may mean different things for different people. It could be a building in Washington, D.C. It could be documents or other items packaged and stored at some off-site facility for safekeeping. It could be a senior citizens vocal group. It could be a small town somewhere in the Midwest. For our purposes, archives are Hiperstation requests to monitor mainframe activity. There are 5 major elements to specify for an archive. Which applications should be monitored? The most common are TSO and CICS. What hours during the day should the monitoring be done? Which days should be included in the monitoring? Whose activity should be monitored? Finally, where should the information collected be stored? To begin, expand the Archive Management entry, then right-click on the archive icon and choose Create New Archive. The Create VTAM Archive dialog box will appear. Here you see the necessary parameters have been specified. We will look at each group more closely. First, the archive is given a name. The description entry is optional, though encouraged. Next, the repository dataset name is entered. This should be a new dataset name, unique to the archive request. If this name is already in use by another archive request, the create will fail. Note the existing dataset option. An existing dataset would be one whose name coincidentally matches the pattern shown. Delete is the recommended option, and a new dataset would be allocated and the recording would continue. Terminate would stop the archive request and recording would end. Date and time ranges have been entered. Since both are optional, the default values shown here may remain unchanged. If that is the case, monitoring will begin as soon as the archive definition has been completed successfully, and termination must be requested by the user. Here, the monitoring is set to examine the activities of one user for all applications and from any terminal. Include Exclude Lists are covered later in this module. The Scheduled Switch option, if used, allows you to specify when the archive segments should change, enabling you to generate near real-time reports. A search request can be queued to an archive and will execute each time a segment is changed. When the search request is executed, a report will be generated for your review. Checking the Set Schedule Switch Options checkbox displays the Schedule Switch window. Here you can tell the archive how frequently and during which hours you would like the scheduled switch to take place. For example, entering a start time of 8 and an end time of 17 and an interval of 30 would tell the archive process to change segments every 30 minutes between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Outside of the specified time frame, a segment would change only if it becomes full or a user manually forces a change. When all entries are complete, click on the Create Archive icon found in the upper right of the window. Since the named dataset is new, the Allocation Parameters dialog box appears. Note the additional node appended to the dataset name. This number will be incremented and a new dataset allocated automatically and, if necessary, when the initial dataset reaches capacity. Click on OK to continue. Here you see the confirmation message for a successful archive creation. The new archive now appears in the list, and the blue shading indicates its active status. A right-click reveals the context menu listing the available archive commands. Please see the documentation for detailed command information. The archive just created monitors the activity of one user. To monitor multiple users, one may either choose those to include or those to exclude. To use this functionality, right-click on Include Exclude Lists and choose Create Include Exclude List. The Include Exclude List dialog box appears. Enter a name for the list, then choose the type. The description is optional. Enter the remaining information for all in the group. When complete, click on the Save icon at the top. Next, look for the confirmation message. The new list will appear in the Audit Explorer pane. This concludes this module. Thank you.